But coming up in the autumn, of course, Rachel Reeves is going to embark on a white-hole war and waste to free up cash for the autumn budget. It's going to be a bit of a shock to her, no doubt, to discover that the police bill for all of this policing that's been going on in the last 2 weeks is probably going to be pretty expensive. So that may be another hole in the black hole that she's already got to deal with, that she says she didn't know about. But she wants to do, apparently, what we've been suggesting that she do for a long time, which is to crack down on benefit fraud. Let's talk now to our man at the Taxpayers Alliance, of course, and find out precisely what it is that she's got planned. Very good morning to you, Benjamin.
Good morning, Mike. Thanks for having me on.
Thanks very much for talking to us. I mean, Rachel Reeves has got quite a few problems looming, hasn't she? Because she's got not only the bill which is coming in for all of the public sector pay rises that she wants to hand out, she's now saying that she wants to try and cut down on benefit fraud. But that's always been historically difficult to do, even though people like me always say that they should do it. They always go, oh, it's easier just to pay people who are fraudulent than it is to try and crack down on them because it's more expensive.
Yeah, I mean, you're absolutely right. Look, since taking office, the government have made a series of spending commitments, whether that's £8 billion for GB Energy or, like you rightly say, the public sector pay rises. We're talking about in the region of £9 billion for that, as well as this sort of £22 billion black hole that the government claimed to have found. I mean, this commitment is certainly welcome to see the government actually taking the issue of fraud seriously. But this comes 2 weeks after the DWP essentially raised the white flag on this issue and said that they expect fraud to go up every single year.
Right. Yeah, and I mean, the thing is, they always make the most ridiculous claim in government, don't they? Where they say, well, if we had to bring in a squad of people to counter the fraud, it would end up costing more money than the actual fraud.
Yeah, that's absolutely correct. You know, we have seen fraud rise over the last few years in particular. But in terms of sort of bringing new people in, the government haven't shied away from doing that recently. Yeah. Between 2016 and 2023, the civil service grew by 100,000. Now, OK, there were certain issues to deal with during that time, but the numbers haven't come back down post-pandemic. And indeed, the government abandoned that idea just, I believe it was last week, they scrapped that plan. So, you know, if Rachel Reeves wants to be making savings, absolutely go after fraud, but also look at your own sort of pay bill.
Right. And how much do you think the events of the last sort of week and a half will have altered the perception of government for the Labour Party? Because, of course, when they came in, they were supposedly very popular, even though they didn't get a massive share of the vote. But Keir Starmer's approval rating has gone absolutely downwards very quickly, from 16 points down to 3. It might even go into the negative, and I think I think Rachel Reeves has gone into the negative already. So people are not very happy with them. She's presented with a very large bill from everything that's been going on with the police in the last couple of weeks. Suddenly the autumn statement looks a bit difficult.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, the bill for policing these recent events is going to run into the millions. That's without a doubt, I think. In terms of how they're perceived, you know, this was a government that was supposedly elected for competency and is trying to project that. Whether that's coming across, I think I'll leave to your listeners to decide.
Yeah, absolutely right. So, I mean, in reality, people always say, well, if you need to find the money, you can. I mean, they found the money to pay for the police. They found the money to pay for the junior doctors. They found the money to send off to various countries around the world to help them with climate action. They found the money for windmills and all the other sort of Ed Miliband nonsense. So when and why should anybody believe that they have to cut anything?
I mean, yeah, this is a perfectly reasonable point to make, but we have to consider that total managed expenditure for this year is expected to be over £1.2 trillion. That's going on top of, we have a national debt of £2.5 trillion. You know, we borrow £380 million every single day. Neither of the parties have been honest when it comes to spending. They've not been upfront with the public, and it's high time we actually had that conversation of really getting our spending under control.
Yeah, very good. Benjamin, thanks very much indeed. Benjamin Elks there from the Taxpayers Alliance, telling us precisely what it is that Rachel Reeves needs to do.